Everyone keeps talking about Florida's hot housing market, sunny weather, no state income tax, and a booming population. But there's a side of the story most people overlook. Behind the rising home prices and new developments is a mix of structural risks, escalating costs, and HOA politics that could cost homeowners more than they bargained for. Let's start with the numbers. As of early 2025, the median home price in Florida is still climbing, especially in areas like Tampa, Orlando, and Miami. But inventory is tightening again, and builders are pulling back due to higher interest rates and rising insurance premiums. Insurance has become one of the biggest disruptors. After multiple hurricanes and a wave of fraud claims, many insurers pulled out of the state or hiked premiums so high that monthly housing costs have exploded, even for buyers who locked in low mortgage rates. Meanwhile, investors and out-of-state buyers continue to flood the market, bidding up prices and putting pressure on local families. In many cases, they're buying in bulk and then renting or flipping properties within months. Combine that with inflation and a still uncertain economic outlook, and the so-called booming market starts to feel more like a bubble waiting for a pin. Now, let's talk about HOAs, homeowner associations. In Florida, a staggering number of communities are governed by them. On paper, HOAs maintain community standards, but in practice, they often operate with near total authority. HOA fees have risen sharply, in some cases by hundreds of dollars per month, with little oversight. In fact, many Florida HOAs can place liens on your home, restrict rentals, or foreclose over unpaid dues or rule violations. And because they're private entities, challenging them can be expensive and slow. Worse yet, transparency is a major issue. Buyers often don't realize the full scope of HOA rules or financial instability until they're locked into a property. Some HOAs are deeply underfunded, especially in older buildings where deferred maintenance is a ticking time bomb. There are already horror stories: homeowners losing their properties over minor fines, condo buildings with massive special assessments, and communities where the HOA board acts more like a private government than a community partner. In one recent case, a South Florida couple lost their home over just a few months of unpaid dues, despite being up to date on their mortgage and taxes. That's not a rare story anymore. These aren't isolated incidents. They're becoming more common, especially in high-growth counties where development is outpacing regulation. So what can you do? If you're buying in Florida, especially in a condo or gated community, read the HOA documents, all of them. Ask for the financials, check for reserve funds, and talk to neighbors if you can. Florida still has opportunity, but the risks are real. Between rising costs, legal gray zones, and insurance instability, the dream home can turn into a nightmare fast, especially if your HOA turns hostile.